Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
Hey, Steve. All set for Ilima?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Okay, Steve, you're on. Go ahead.
All right, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane. This is Steve Jewin once again from MMA Mania. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And how are you doing today?
Hi, Steve. I'm good. I'm just getting a massage right now.
Well,
There's an elbow in my butt.
Well, you may need a few after this fight with Kate Jackson because she's vowing to put a hurting on you.
I doubt she said that. She's a very nice lady.
Actually, she is a very nice lady, but she did say something that caught me a little bit by surprise. She actually thinks that her ground game is capable of being on the same level as yours, and she cited lots of BJJ competitions that she'd been in and lots of no-gi that she'd done, but I'm still thinking to myself, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane on the ground? I don't know if I'd want to go there.
Yeah, no, actually, I totally agree with her. I've been saying that she has the best ground game in the division next to me. Super solid BJJ background, and yeah, she really likes to do no-gi. So yeah, I think if anyone's going to test me on the ground, it's going to be Kate Jackson.
Well, I'm glad you two agree on that, but I'm still just a little bit inclined to say you're a notch above, just in terms of what I've been watching you do over these past few years. That you've faced some good jiu-jitsu competitors in your time, and you've still found ways to win.
Yeah, that might just stylistically wise, like I do go after the finishes and the submissions. Like that's a testament to my 10th Planet background. My head coach Richie Martinez, Boogeyman, he's always embedded that into me to always be on the hunt for the finish. So yeah, I think that's kind of where Kate and I, differ stylistically on the ground, is that you don't really see her going for the finish too often. But again, with that said, I guess we'll find out, whose submission game is better.
It's funny you mentioned that, though, going for the finish, because that was one of the things she cited about your last fight with Vida Arteaga. She said if it hadn't been for that TKO stoppage, you might have had your match with Vida Arteaga, because it seemed like she was going with you hold for hold.
Yeah, but there were a lot of circumstances surrounding that fight that a lot of people don't know about. I was actually, considering those circumstances, I'm like, all right, I'm a badass bitch. Like, I fucking finished it. So, at first I was like, I didn't think that my performance was very good. And then I rewatched the fight, and after learning about a lot of stuff, I was like, oh, I didn't do as bad as I thought I did. And I still sent her to the hospital. But I agree, to everybody that watched it, or to a lot of people that watched it that didn't know what was going on, it looked like Vida was testing me. But, she tests everybody that she fights with. So, I mean, if Kate were to fight her, I wonder what would happen as well.
Well, maybe we'll get to see that in the future, but in the present, you've just made a statement that really has me scratching my head, wondering what exactly it was that was going on. Is there anything you can illuminate that you can tell me in this interview about the circumstances going into that fight?
Oh, you guys, so maybe you should ask Vida about that one.
Oh, okay, well.
See what she says.
I guess we'll just have to leave it there for now, but in the meantime, let me ask you a completely different question than the fighting, because we've talked about so many of your fights and so many of your title defenses over the years, but what I really want to know right now is what it means to you that you're getting to do this again in Hawaii, and the love that you get, the emotional outpouring you get when you fight at home in Hawaii. What is that feeling right now?
Oh, I mean, it definitely builds up, it's pretty much when I land in Hawaii, that's when everything floods me. But like you said, just that feeling of love and support, it's so amazing. And of course I would love to fight in Hawaii as often as I can. But the reality is that I don't think I have the emotional capacity to do that every fight because it's so intense. And, but yeah, maybe once a year is good for me.
Yeah, that might be about the maximum, because it does seem to take a lot out of you. It comes pouring out of you at the end of the fight. If the last fight that you had is any indication, I imagine you'll probably be trying to do an interview, either, Mike Goldberg or Big John McCarthy or Mauro Ranallo, whoever's on the announce team that night. You might just be in tears.
Oh, I for sure am going to be crying. That's a guarantee.
Is it tough to focus then when you've got that much love and that much flowing through you? Is it tough to focus on the fact that this is a title defense and that you're not just out there to represent, but you're also trying to win some money and showcase your skill at the same time?
No, it's not tough to focus because I'm like so used to it already that I cry every fight. So it's just part of the routine at this point. Yeah, so I've never had an issue with it.
When you got this fight coming up in Hawaii and you're going home and you're looking forward to seeing everybody and planning out what's going to be undoubtedly a spectacular entrance, what's the first step for you? Is it like you said, boots on the ground, you're going to feel that emotion, then what happens? What's next?
Then the weight cut. So, yes, I'll feel all the love and support, and then I'll start getting super annoyed and irritated. And then I have to take a deep breath, and I just have to remember that everybody just is excited, and they just love you. And then I have to, show my gratitude, and then everything's good. But, it's a process definitely with the weight cut. When you're a little bit low on calories and you still have to do all of your fight week obligations and everything, definitely can be taxing at times. But again, it's part of the routine at this point. I'm ready for it. I just want to get the show on the road.
Routine is the word I was just thinking of, actually. I'm thinking you're 10-0, you're a world champion, you've done this multiple times. Going through the weight cut has to be a routine for you by now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it still sucks, but it's definitely something that I'm used to at this point. I'm used to the suck.
Wow, that's a quote if ever I heard one. I'm used to the suck. Sorry, that one's going in the article, I guarantee it. But one thing that doesn't suck from what you've told me in the past is the feasting that you can have after the fight, the luau's, the parties. Is Kate Jackson invited, win or lose?
Oh, yeah, for sure. She is 100% invited. I even have a flyer I was going to send to her on Instagram.
Nice. See, I told her that you were that type of person, that you were going to invite her to a feast, and I'm glad I was right about that. Oh, can it get any better than this for you at this point with your successes and getting to fight at home in Hawaii? I mean, is there any bigger plateau that you could possibly reach?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe like having a baby, I think would be the next one. I'm like, yeah. No, there's a lot of things I can think of that could be really cool. But no, this is definitely a highlight of my journey and my life and everything. So I couldn't be more grateful and excited that we're bringing it back home again. Hana Hall, Bellator, Hawaii.
One of the things Jackson said to me that struck me as a chord you would find very familiar is that she said early in her career in the UK, she ran out of opponents to face in her weight class, and she had to start traveling abroad just to get more competition. Do you think you're at a same level right now in Bellator where you're kind of running out of competitors to face you for the title?
No, I don't think so at all. Even like with more and more fighters coming over to Bellator from other promotions, I don't think there's going to be a shortage whatsoever. And I think our division is there's a lot of sleepers in the division. I think any of these women could win the belt. It's just styles make matchups. So, yeah, I'm not worried about running out of opponents at all.
Well, what about Juliana Velasquez and Bruna Ellen? That was a fight that she highlighted to me as somebody that could face the winner of your fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that fight would definitely be a number one contender spot for sure.
All right. Well, then obviously you want to be the one to face the winner of that number one contender fight. So without giving away too much of your specific game plan, what's the general outline for how you defeat Kate Jackson here in Hawaii?
I kind of see it kind of coming down to how me and Valerie's fight were last atmosphere, just kind of keeping on the feet, feeling each other out. But then at the end of the day, when it hits the ground, like, I'm going to come up with the finish.
Have you gotten to that point where you know that it's going to be, how should I put this, a tool in your arsenal that if things are a stalemate on the ground, you can slice somebody open with an elbow and finish it just like that?
Oh, totally. Like, I was actually really happy that I got that finish, like how I did, because one, I was in her closed guard, and so two, I was able to get a doctor stoppage with that elbow. So it's like, it showed that I'm dangerous everywhere on the ground. I can be on my back, I can be in your guard, I can be in side control. Like, I will find the finish in any position on the ground.
Does it bother you when fans think that's not a valid form of a fight ending, when they complain that it should have been let go, that it should have been allowed to continue?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Oh, yeah, what I was saying was, you know how the pundits are on social media and in the MMA sphere, and they say things like, well, that's bullshit, that should have been allowed to continue. Does that bother you at all?
Oh, no, no, not at all. And I've talked to the refs, I talked to the doctors and everything, and they were like, that was a good stoppage because they could see her skull through her head. So, yeah, I don't care about what anybody on the internet has to say, because chances are they've never fought a day in their life and they don't know what they're talking about. So, yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that.
Well, I'm certainly one of those people. I'm on the internet and I've never had a fight a day in my life, or at least not a professional mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's also the case of maybe fans are a little bloodthirsty at times. They see somebody get cut open and they're like, yeah, more action, more blood.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But I thought it was a good stoppage. So I ain't tripping.
I've said this so many times on my own MMA podcast that I feel like it's a broken record at this point. But when a fight ends because a fighter can't continue, I always say, why is that not just as impressive as a knockout? Why is that not just as impressive as a submission? You have finished your opponent because he or she is medically unable to continue. That, to me, is a statement in and of itself as much as a knockout or a sub.
Yeah, and in fact, my boxing coach said it the best, because I was like, oh, I felt bad about getting a doctor stoppage, because it's like I didn't make Vita quit on her own account, but my boxing coach was like, no, that's the best way to win. There is literally another person coming into the cage being like, you're gonna die if you keep fighting. So he's like, that's the best way to finish someone. I was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that.
See, I felt the exact same way with another fight that I watched recently, where the fighter had two giant lacerations, one above and one below his eye, and they were like, no, dude, your eyeball's gonna fall out of your head, this fight's over. And people were screaming about it on Twitter, and I'm like, no, did you really want to see his eye pop out? That was the right call.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Ilima-Lei, this is always fun. I love talking to you about your upcoming title defenses, and I want to know what words of wisdom you have for Kate Jackson before this fight on Saturday in Hawaii.
Words of wisdom, just bring it, girl. I respect you a lot for taking this fight in Hawaii, and you're still invited to the luau no matter the outcome of the fight.
That's so awesome.
I mean, unless like we're in the hospital or like we're in the hospital, then obviously you can't make it. But the offer is still there.
But you know what? You could bring the luau to the hospital if she's there, or if you're both there, you could share it together.
Oh my gosh. Exactly. Yeah, I'll bring her a plate lunch.
That's so cool. Thank you, Ilima-Lei. I always appreciate the time. And if you want to shout out anybody or thank anybody, please go ahead. As always, the floor is yours.
Yes, I'm going to shout out to my massage goddess, Lisa. She's standing here with me. We just finished my massage. And, yeah, she's been my therapist for a couple years now and gets me ready for all of my fights. So shout out to her, and her business is called Real Living Holistic Health. Gee. She's smiling awkwardly right now. That's it. That's the only shout out I have.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa, for keeping Ilima-Lei in such great shape. And Ilima-Lei, thank you for always bringing the fight to Bellator. It's going to be an exciting main event with you and Kate Jackson, and I can't wait to see it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. And Dan, thank you as well.